Hey everyone, this is Sarah's Night, and tonight we'll be just continuing on with this Let's Play of Link's Awakening. Starting with the very first dungeon, Tails Cave. And yeah, as you can see, there's... I really don't know exactly how to say it, but there's like a lot more detail put into each room in Link's Awakening as opposed to the very first NES Zelda game. And even, I think, A Link to the Past, which is on Super NES, so you would definitely think that normally dungeons would, you know, be more graphically impressive, you know, considering it's on Super NES and this is Game Boy, but actually, no, I think it's, I think out of all three games, this definitely has the most detail, and probably thought and theme put into each dungeon. It still kind of has, like, the same, it does share the general similarity with, the first NES Zelda by, you know, being like perfectly square rooms that, you know, that comprise a kind of like a grid layout for a map, and the screen, you know, where the screen doesn't move with Link, so you have to go all the way left or right or up or down to move into the next room, and then the screen shifts with you. And it's also kind of, you know, you can tell at the front entrance here, also kind of shares a little shares a similarity with NES Zelda by kind of having like ceremonial statues and these lit furnaces and all in the front room of the dungeon. But yeah, we'll just let's get to exploring this dungeon. So those guys, those enemies, I think they show up quite a few times later on in the game. You know, they're impervious to Link's sword, but as you can tell, there is very conveniently a pit to knock him into, and that will, you know, that will count as defeating them, and that made the key appear. What we got in here? Oh. Okay. I vaguely remembered that, you know, just those pretty easy to beat, like green slime monsters, just kind of pop up out of the floor. So all I had to do is one whirlwind attack close enough to all of them, and there we go. So yeah, I just got the compass in this dungeon already, and so kind of like in Link to the Past, it, you know, it tells you, it'll tell you, the compass will enable you to know which rooms have treasure chests and which room the boss is hiding in. And I mean, admittedly, I never found it to be that much use, especially because of the second feature. I mean, with you're definitely going to go to the final boss no matter what, so I don't think it's really that helpful just to know where in the dungeon he is, because I mean, essentially you're ultimately going to end up there. That's your final destination, and he's pretty hard to miss anyway by always being hidden behind a, you know, behind like a specially locked door that you need a particular key for, unlike the random small keys that you find around. Okay, and that's like this guy right here. This is like a mini version of the boss in this of the Tails Cave dungeon. Now that I think about it, it's also the boss of this dungeon. You'll probably recognize him right away if you haven't played Link's Awakening. But he's recycled from A Link to the Past, from the caterpillar kind of monster whose tail you had to strike, otherwise he might like headbutt you into the floor below. He was in, I think, the third dungeon in A Link to the Past from the light version of Hyrule. But yeah, if you might have heard a tone when I walked into that room just now. That's what the compass also does for you in Link's Awakening. By letting you, it gives you like that little musical ditty right there to let you know that there is a key in this room. So if you're having trouble finding one, well, if you hear the tone, you know that there is one in this room no matter what. So just keep looking until you know, find the way to uncover it, even if it's not obvious. Okay, I do not have the feather, which is the special item in this dungeon yet, so I cannot leap over these chasms. And that's a bombable wall right there, which we don't have bombs yet, so can't really mess with that. shortcuts are also here, just like in NES Zelda and Link to the Past. Like motion activated, where if you get in their line of sight, then you know they'll quickly dash over to you. Oh, okay, well, that was actually just an idea. I didn't totally remember that before I got in here. Movable tiles to unlock more doors, as always. And with these guys, they're also impervious to Link's sword, but if you use your shield and bump into them, then you turn them on their side to where a point of vulnerability is showing, and then you can destroy them. And of course, like with NES Zelda dungeons, there's the secret passages that will lead you from one point in the dungeon to another, are in the side view. And you know, here, if you didn't notice that, I just killed a few Goombas, so you know that's a thing. I guess because both Mario and Zelda games are made by Nintendo, that's, you know, they put these shout-outs to Mario all throughout Link's Awakening. I think there's also like Thwomps and Koopa Troopas in this game as well. So yeah, that was Rock's Feather just now. And now, as you can see, we can jump. So, if you see these hearts or wings, or I think other items can also be floating in the air. But yeah, that means you just have to use the feather to grab them mid-air. Yeah, I think Rock's Feather is actually like, I guess I can't say it's like the coolest special item you can find in Link's Awakening. You know, there's always like a special item in every dungeon, but it definitely is the most useful, I think. Definitely the most, I get the most constant use out of that. I'm probably going to have it equipped like 70, 75, you know, if not 80, 90% of the time. I'm going to have it on my person throughout the whole entire game. I mean, because jumping is kind of an essential function here. Okay, I think I have... Oh, I have 2 keys, never mind. And there's also another one right there. Yeah, we'll just jump over this, and not only are doors locked in Link's Awakening, but also you have like these, I don't know, I really don't know what they are. I guess they're just giant key monuments, or like gold statues or something with a keyhole in them. That, you know, as soon as you insert a key through the hole, well, you know, the monument mysteriously disappears. And I really don't see how Link couldn't just somehow find a way to squeeze around it or climb over it. But of course, that's, you know, that's common suspension of disbelief in video games. I don't know, just for some reason, like the key monument, I guess that's what I'll call it from now on. It kind of reminds me of the seeming ridiculousness of it. Kind of reminds me of the giant lead pencil statue in at one point in Earthbound, where you actually have to go back into town and actually get an item from this guy called the pencil eraser, and literally you just use it on the statue and it's erased from existence, even though it's like, what is it made out of that you actually managed to completely obliterate it? It's like, you know, an easier thing to do would just be to just exert a little effort to climb over it, you know? Okay, so with these guys, I always called them like penguins. I know they don't have beaks or anything, but they kind of waddle around like penguins, and they're round in shape. And you know, you got like the white bellies with pretty much the rest of the body is black. But yeah, you just have to match up the symbols on them in order to get them all to disappear. But if you strike them at the wrong time and the symbols are mismatched, then they just reset and you have to try again. But yeah, you can match them up with clover, heart, spade, or diamond. It doesn't matter. You just have to know when to strike them in. I just messed up. Okay, so diamond and that crap. A little too late. And because he hit me, I immediately retaliated without... Okay. Always moving, just out of reach. Alright, there we go. So, the fragment of a stone slab. Oh yeah, and conveniently, I guess because this is the first dungeon, so this'll, you know, it's kind of supposed to shout for your attention in case you have no idea what this stone slab piece is for. But yeah, you just go up to the wall, press the confirm button, and, you know, you'll be able to read the writing on the wall. Read the writing on the wall with the stone piece you just got. And it kind of gives you like an essential message for getting through the dungeon. So this one says, turn aside the spined ones with a shield. And, you know, I already knew that as soon as I came across the enemies that, you know, were shielded unless I ran into them with my own shield. And, you know, that made them vulnerable. Because if I, you know, never figured that out, well then I'd never unlock the passage to Rock's Failure, and of course, you know, we'll be stuck in this dungeon until then. So yeah, this is like a little mini-boss right here. And he just has like this gigantic, I don't even remember what you call it, but it's like this rolly thing, which, you know, if it ran over a human in real life with all the spikes on it and stuff, it pretty much grind them into fertilizer. Of course, if it hit Link, you know, it'd only do like 1 heart of damage. Yeah, you just gotta hop over it as he's rolling it towards you, and then... It also gives you like a little mini fairy too, and I think that restores like 5 hearts, so that's always useful. And whenever you defeat the mini-boss, I think, just like in A Link to the Past, a warp pointer will appear, so if you know, if you get killed later on in the dungeon, then you can just take the warp point automatically here, and in general, you know, be a lot closer to the destination you were trying to get to before. Okay, so what's down here? I know that was the boss room just ahead. This dungeon's even shorter than I remember. But, okay. I guess there's really no reason. And to show me that many people have tried to conquer this dungeon before, and they somehow end up with their skeletons hanging off from the ceiling on a chain. Actually, this might be an... this vaguely reminds me of Castlevania. Like, it's actually some design in the background, at least at some point in the game, which is something like skeletons hanging off of the ceiling like that. So maybe that's what that was for. Okay, so boss time. Yeah, in this case, you know, like the mini-boss was like 2 screens away, so if you somehow died on this guy, it'd be absolutely no trouble getting back to him. Yeah, you just gotta be careful not to let him headbutt you into the floor below, or you gotta start all over because his HP resets. Oh, he actually got me. You know, I think my sword was just out of reach of his tail when I struck out just now, and I think that would have actually... It's only like 4 or 5 hits. I can't believe I actually died at that. That's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, if he hadn't hit me at the same time, I might have actually had him right there. And yeah, they also kind of give you a message, I think, every single final boss of the dungeon that you... Yeah, just 4 hits, that's it. And there's my heart container. And so instead of a Triforce piece at the end, what we have is a siren instrument that is our prize. And once we collect all 8, 1 from each dungeon, then we can go on to the Windfish, and that's the ultimate purpose in the game. And here is like, I think this is actually my favorite instrument too out of the 8 in terms of like the sound that it makes. You'll hear it in just a second. The Full Moon Cello. And conveniently you get teleported outside too. And I don't know, maybe that's second dungeon is north past the mysterious woods. where I got the key to this dungeon, Tails Cave, in the first place. It's north further past that in a swamp. And there's our good friend the owl. So, in case I didn't figure it out yet, you know, he's telling me I just managed to claim one of the first of 8 siren instruments. You know, this reminds me, now that I think about it, the owl says he was instructed to give you directions and, you know, what your next goal in the journey is and everything, but who's doing it? The windfish? So yeah, now we go to... Actually, I don't think there's really any objectives to accomplish in the meantime, so we're just going to go straight to the second dungeon from here, pretty much. It's actually, not every... I don't know why they didn't keep it a constant theme in this game. I mean, might as well have. In anything to, you know, keep the game going longer, which I think most players would appreciate, but unlike Tails Cave, hold up. I remember these guys who were throwing the ball back and forth previously near the beach. When you emerge from Tails Cave, they come towards you and ask you to come go chase after the moblins that just now raided the village of humans, you know, nearby where Marin and Terran live. And they, the moblins, like, kidnapped Madame Meow Meow's chain chomp pet that you might have seen before. I didn't mention it when we first walked by it, but yeah, she had like the chain chomp from Super Mario Bros. 3 as a pet outside her house. I don't think we actually went inside and talked to her, but yeah, his owner's name is Madame Meow Meow, and so these moblins came by and like kidnapped her dog. She calls it a dog, technically, I think. At least his name is Bow Wow or something, and, you know, so I guess I assume that's just supposed to be what passes for a dog. But yeah, they asked me to go rescue Madame Meow Meow's dog for her from the moblins, and they're on past the mysterious woods. I think they're near the swamp somewhere, so... But yeah, what I was saying before that little cutscene happened, you know, for some reason in this game, not every dungeon is actually locked with a key. So unlike Tails Cave, if I recall, the second dungeon actually does not need a key to open it up. Like, the entrance is completely open to you, so you don't need to go on like a quest to find a key to it first. You know, like I had to with Tails Cave, where the key was in this chest right here, just to unlock the dungeon from the outside. But of course, every dungeon does have like a special key for the boss room and everything. We got Acorn there again. Oh yeah, and it's the B button that actually lets you skip the entirety of the message on common stuff like that, so that you don't need to see it every time. Like when you find the defensive Acorn or the Triforce, little mini Triforce thing. And Piece of Heart. Now that I have Rock's Feather, I can jump over that part. And we're blocked off here, so no can do there. I don't know, it might be kind of on the same... No, I don't think that's it. That's too far south. I think the Moblin's hideout is further north. Oh, yeah, I just went there. So we'll just go north this way. Yeah, now that I think about it, there's like the southeast edge of the swamp right there. And this right here, actually, I believe this is the hideout right here. But first, let's go north right quick, make sure I don't miss anything. What's this sign say? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I don't know, those guys fight just like moblins, but for some reason they have a different design. They look like goats. Okay, so Tamarack Mountain to the east and Goponga Swamp to the west. Just to reaffirm my directions there. And for some reason, these statues, they either talk to you or there is an inscription on them. And they always say something real cryptic. The windfish in name only, for it is neither. I do not know what that means. Okay, yeah, this is the Moblin's hideout. Who's this suspicious looking runt? Alright, boys, let's get rid of him. Honestly, I don't know what that one moblin was talking to because there's nobody else in the room. He's like, alright boys, let's get him. I guess he thought maybe all the other moblins, like, in the other rooms through the walls could hear him say that. Yeah, pretty easy. They're completely defenseless and they chunk spears at you, which only do like half a heart of damage. Big deal. It's like, I think, if you just gave me a sword and I knew how to swing it without hurting myself, I could probably kill like 2 or 3 moblins on my own. They're like orcs. You must be an assassin sent by Madame Meow Meow to rescue the runt. Oh, the mutt. Came here to get me, but it is I who will get you. An assassin? Okay, so yeah, if I recall, this guy is invulnerable unless you hit him after he runs into the wall like an idiot. All you have to do is just easily avoid it, and then you can just run up and hit him. You know, I never understood what it was, and I've probably mentioned this before in other games I've LP'd, but it's like, why do bosses that are like completely invulnerable to any of your weapons, especially in RPGs, even you know, even if you were like levels and levels beyond them, like way too strong, and you could normally, you can kill them in like one hit, you know, were they vulnerable? It's like they open up a point of vulnerability for themselves, for you to just take complete advantage of that. It's just like, you know, if you just kept fighting as you are, eventually you're bound to kill me because I can't do anything about hitting you. So, like just now, if that guy just simply kept throwing arrows at me instead of just running into the wall, I'd never be able to hurt him. And it looks like he's got an infinite supply of arrows, so it's like, if you keep chunking them at me, just keep on. Eventually you're bound to wear me down and kill me with them. Well, meanwhile, I can't damage you at all, unless of course you decide to run headfirst in the wall like an idiot. So yeah, actually, now that I think about it, if I recall, it's actually Bow Wow here was this Chain Chomp guy that I just rescued. I think his name is actually Bow Wow. Now that I think about it, I actually need him to make it through the swamp in order to get to the second dungeon. So I think there's like there's just like invulnerable monsters that only he can kill for me. So you know what? I might not even need to go revisit Madame Meow Meow and let her know that I rescued her dog first. I think I can just go ahead and take him to the swamp, because even if I go back to her to let her know I rescued him, she's just gonna ask me to like take him out for a walk, and she hints that he likes like the certain flower species in the swamp. He likes to eat those. So of course that's a hint, as you know, those enemies are gonna be my way. So I need the Chain Chomp to kill him. And this guy, his name is simply Right. And that's all he does. He just kind of sits here like a lonely hermit in this cottage all day, just writing letters and sending them out to various people on the island. And he just, you know, he just now said that, well, the downside is nobody ever writes back to me. So, you know, now I think about it, it's kind of sad. It kind of sounds like he leads a really lonely existence. He's actually reaching out through any means possible for human contact. It's just like nobody even cares enough to write back to him. Oh, holy crap! I just noticed the Bow Wow was actually kind of eating the enemies for me, at least some of them. Oh yeah, I stood on that spot on the floor too long, so whoops. Yeah, so it's not just the enemies in the swamp that he'll eat. I guess he'll pretty much eat anybody. Okay, I could probably jump over that, but I really don't feel like trying, so let's just go around. Actually, I don't think I can move that skull out of the way either without the gauntlet. Yep, it's too heavy. Holy cow, he just dove right for that moblin's throat as soon as I came out. What's up here right quick? Okay, I think further on is Death Mountain. Any of the elevations above me at this point I think counts as Death Mountain, so it's gonna be a long time since I can get there. Alright. I don't know why I did that. I just leaped right into that hole instead of killing the moblin first. Okay, dude, seriously. The chain chomp is literally eating everything in sight. It's amazing. Yeah, I never understood what's the deal with this phone thing. You know, there's like a few cottages, like these little cottages scattered throughout the island, and you just go in. It's just a phone. It's ringing. It's specifically for you. As soon as you answer it, it's like there's this guy that just, you know, kind of keeps the phone busy, hoping that you'll answer it. And I think he wait, what? Danger, keep out. Except Bow Wow. Who wrote that sign? Okay. Actually, it's not just the flower species, is it? Will he eat like these sharks that have? Yep. he just did one right there. It's like, I think you can kill like these little miniature sharks that kind of dive out of the swamp. You know, as long as they're actually diving out and not just the fin showing. But yeah, this guy will eat anything. Yeah, here we are. This is the entrance to the second dungeon right here. Okay, and we'll just go around. Alright, well, I think that's enough for one episode. You know, next time we'll just get into the next dungeon, the Bottle Grotto, I believe it's called. So, see you then.